Welcome to your body, your breath. Check in right now. How do you how do you feel? When you take a breath in, what are the sensations of the air coming in your nostrils? Notice that right now. What are the sensations of your skin inside your body, your heart maybe? What are the needs that are coming up? And as a way of loving ourselves and focusing on our needs to give ourselves a break and to give compassion to ourselves is to have gratitude for who we are today. All the years of stuff that we've gone through, and the wisdoms that we have today that um, could bring some mourning for the wisdom we didn't have 20, 40 years ago. Even 50 years ago, if you're, for me, looking back on my teenage years, the searching I was doing. And we have gratitude for who we are now compared to then. I look back on and say, man, I was so naive. I thought I knew it all. And so much of what I went through then sort of creates the person that I am now. Created the mother that I was. How I showed up for my kid. And even now, more more wisdom, more growth than when I was with a young mother, as I say with a sigh. Gratitude for who we are today with this human that we are in this moment, reaching back in our past, the times when we were looking for answers, looking for happiness in all the wrong places, as they say. Either for doing exactly what our parents did, or in my case, trying to do exactly the opposite of, that my parents did. Thinking I was going to find the happiness that they never had. I did the opposite. Didn't quite work out that way. Well, maybe it did. But however it is for you, What can you feel grateful for in yourself right now? What can you love about yourself? I love that sometimes I can listen now. Not only guessing feelings and needs and reflecting, but silent listening, just listening even when there's silence. How is that even a way of communicating that you can listen to? I think that's what's coming up for me that I like the most is that the ability to listen. How can I reach back into my past and offer maybe empathy to those parts of me that are still flailing around? Can you love yourself in this moment and then reach back to times when you were harder to love? Were you ever harder to love? Am I the only one that was hard to love at different parts of my life? Am I going to look back on myself when I'm 80 and say, oh man, when I was 67, I was clueless. If only I knew then what I know now. Probably. What can we love about ourselves, though, in this moment without going into the um, clueless self satisfaction that was typical of my 20s, maybe? Thinking you know it all, thinking you have it all together, thinking you figured it out. In this moment, you may have figured it out. Just let it sink in that love, something that we love about ourselves now. And like I said, for me, I'm coming to my occasionally skill for listening. Occasionally. Sometimes I blow it royally. Usually when it's it's so uncomfortable from the intensity of the other person's emotion. I often blow it. I think a lot of people do though. They have trouble handling what comes out for them when your friend just needs somebody to listen. You think if only I could give them just the right pearl, they won't be in pain anymore. And when I just have to listen. See, I'm already giving myself a compassion. My 80-year-old self is looking back and saying, you thought you were so good at listening. How many times did you reach into, yeah, but or offering a pearl of insight that they're not ready to hear? So, as we offer gratitude to ourselves, um, give the blessing of hoping that our loved ones feel grateful for themselves, something that they can love about themselves. Extend that out to neutral people. So many times, neutral people, for me, have less power in their lives than I do. Um, and I hope that somehow they're able to find joy and a sense of gratitude in their life. Such a gift. And then, of course, the difficult people, meaning the ones that I don't know very well. So I flatten them to an enemy, which is what we humans do, right? Hmm. Wanting to feel grateful for them, not always possible. Probably can't hear that osprey because I changed the sound settings, but it's pretty intense. And then holding out our arms and bringing arms around the whole world. Gratitude with love, compassion. And thank you so much for joining us. We that are live are going to sit for 15 minutes quietly, or stand quietly, or lie down quietly, and contemplate loving ourselves, being grateful for ourselves. Thank you so much for joining us.